The current internet ecosystem greatly supports snapback, clapback, tabloid drama over legitimate exposing. Listen, man, you ask some young person. There's no culture, there's no unity, and there's no passion. Why should any Gen Zer coming up right now, going to school, want to risk their lives exposing the corrupt? It's going to destroy their lives. Look at that dude. What's his name? Gary Webb. Remember that? Do you know the story?
Yeah, I just saw a video of him yesterday.
Yeah. That's a very, very important story.
Yep.
What happened?
He was trying to expose, what was it, the CIA?
Well, the drug trade specifically organized by the CIA that was also arming rebels in Latin America for the overthrow of the government, specifically the Contras in Nicaragua. And he exposed through talking to individuals like Freeway Ricky Ross, not the rapper, the original real Freeway Ricky Ross. I actually talked to him and interviewed him on my channel on We Are Change, who exposed essentially how it was the CIA that introduced him to crack cocaine and pushed crack cocaine into the United States.
And can I read? I gotta read this. This is from Wikipedia. You don't gotta like Wikipedia. I'm just gonna read a sentence. Webb was found dead in his Carmichael home on December 10th, 2004, with 2 gunshot wounds to the head.
Shotgun.
His death was ruled a suicide by the Sacramento County Coroner's Office. After a local paper reported that he had died from multiple gunshots, the coroner's office received so many calls asking about Webb's death that Sacramento County Coroner Robert Lyons issued a statement confirming that Webb had died by suicide. When asked by local reporters about the possibility of 2 gunshots being a suicide, Lyons replied, "It's unusual in a suicide case to have 2 shots, but it has been done in the past, and it is in fact a distinct possibility." News coverage noted that there were widespread rumors on the internet at the time that Webb had been killed as retribution for his Dark Alliance series, published 8 years before. Webb's ex-wife, Susan Bell, told reporters that she believed Webb had died by suicide. "The way he was acting, it would be hard for me to believe it was anything but suicide," she said. According to Bell, Webb had been unhappy for some time over his inability to get a job at another major newspaper. He had sold his house the week before his death because he was unable to afford the mortgage. After Webb's death, a collection of his stories before and after the Dark Alliance series were published, etc., etc.
Yeah, the CIA
So-
will go
so-
after your
There was
family.
even a movie
horrifying.
surrounding his life.
It's
and some of the
possible
findings.
that he shot himself in such a way that it
Twice,
wasn't
yeah.
lethal. But most people read that and go, like, they're even telling us on Wikipedia that people were like, what?
You gotta
What do you
study
mean?
Kill the Messenger was, I think, the movie that documented his life. And I remember reading his book, The Dark Alliance, when I was in high school and being absolutely flabbergasted at the connections that he was able to investigate, to look into and expose with evidence, with proof, the U.S. government literally financing not only death squads in Latin America and financing revolutions and meddling in other people's elections, but more importantly, bringing crack cocaine into the United States and introducing it into urban, dense communities, which of course led to individuals like Joe Biden and the Clintons passing very strict legislation that threw a lot of people in jail for victimless crimes like using narcotics. And again, just the weaponization and how crack cocaine was used to destroy modern America. Those implications, when we talk about, racism and race issues, why doesn't anyone want to bring up these issues? Why aren't we having huge conversations about any liability for all those people involved, any consequences for all those people involved that destroyed so many lives and communities? For what? It's absolutely sickening. I mean, his book, The Dark Alliance, I definitely recommend it. And later on in life, he did complain because no one wanted to hire him because he exposed the CIA. And when you expose the CIA, I mean, Chuck Schumer says, they have
There's
7 ways to
Sunday.
Sunday.
to screw you.
Let's
That's
talk
right.
about Michael Hastings.
Yeah.
Do you guys know the story of Michael Hastings? He was investigating some very, very powerful people. Long story short, but I can pull it up and read it for you.
Sam, are you going to get a shot?
Am I going to get a
Are we all
shot?
going to get a shot? Are we for talking about this?
No, but I think I'll get banned.
Yeah,
That's why I keep telling everybody, like, we're setting up a website because we are cutting through the BS, and people want to know about investigative journalism. They want to know why it's not happening. I'll tell you. First, you get stories like Gary Webb.
Yeah.
Suicide by 2 gunshots to the head. And they're like, trust us, that's what happened. And the journalists are like, yo, we got an issue with that story. Then you get this story about Michael Hastings. And this is only, this is now just about 7.5 or so years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Controversy over alleged foul play. Michael Hastings was a journalist, and he died in a fiery car wreck in, I believe it was Los Angeles.
That's right. This was in 2013?
2013.
Yeah, I remember
2013.
that.
Check
And
this out.
wasn't Joe Biggs his friends?
Well, let me just read this for you. They say the day before the crash, Hastings indicated that he believed he was being investigated by the FBI. In an email to colleagues, which was copied to and released by Hastings' friend, Army Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs. Hastings said that he was onto a big story, that he needed to go off the radar, and that the FBI might interview him. WikiLeaks announced that Hastings had also contacted Jennifer Robinson, one of his lawyers, a few hours prior to his death. And the LA Weekly reported that he was preparing new reports on the CIA. Come on. Come on, Luke. What are you doing?
Yeah.
At the time of his death. The FBI released a statement denying that Hastings was ever under investigation by the agency, et cetera, et cetera. But here, I want to give you the gist of the story. He goes to his neighbor and he says, I need to borrow your car. Because the other night I saw someone fiddling around with my car. And his neighbor was like, well, that's crazy. No, you can't use my car. Then his car was seen speeding down the road at maximum speed, sparks and flames shooting out, and then crashed into a tree just at the time he was saying that he was going to be reporting on the CIA and was contacting WikiLeaks. And I guess we'll never know.
Are you sure there was sparks and flames?
That's what the report said.
Wow.
Well,
that's what the report said.
Video. There's like a short clip of showing the actual, car moving before it, it crashed and it killed him.
There's a guy named Kevin Shipp. He used to work for the CIA. Are you familiar with his work at all,
No.
Luke? You're going to love this guy. He left the CIA to expose them, wrote a book called From the Shadows about the shadow government and the deep state and the difference between the two. And he talks very clearly about how the CIA will and try to do to him, first destroy your economic ability to get a job, then go after your family to freak you out. Then eventually they'll try and kill you.
Yeah, so maybe we should change subjects.
Come on, grow
find
a pair.
things.
Get some chest hair there.
The cartoon guy's like, I just want to make funny
guys,
cartoons.
I
You're
just
in
want to
it.
make you.
You're on the list now.
No, I'm kidding. It's true. It's over. I've been on the list. My big red pill with the CIA, and well, first of all, the past 4 years of just seeing the intelligence community trying to unseat a democratically elected president with absolutely no evidence was enough of a red pill. But one thing I'm going to tell to the people at home that blew my mind the first time I did it, and I'm not even going to describe it, but just Google Operation Northwoods if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just Google that. I'm not even going to tell you what it is.
That was the Joint Chiefs of Staffs.
Yeah.
But the Intercept, what you were talking about, I kind of want to add on. The Intercept actually wrote an article a few years ago in 2014 that was titled "How the CIA Watched Over the Destruction of Gary Webb." So there's a lot of other involvement. There's a lot of other underhanded things that we don't know of that should be exposed, should be talked about, no matter what the consequences, because the truth here matters. But there's also other media institutions like the Washington Post, which I have to point out do have a lot of connections to the CIA, that wrote an article saying, quote, Gary Webb was no journalism hero, despite what Kill the Messenger says. Kill the Messenger, it was again the movie about him.
What is their argument against him? What is their argument against him?
Ian, you mentioned, I got to address something Ian just said about how they go after your family. What I was told by some other journalists is that the first thing they do is bribe. It's simple. Hey, would you like to help us out, man? We love this country.
Maybe we should keep talking about this.
Yeah.
Well, so they come to you and they make a very, well, actually, it's not, the first thing isn't cash. The first thing is, will you agree to work with us? And a lot of journalists say, yes, immediately. We'll send you stories. You publish them. It'll be great. It'll help the country out. And they say, you got it. Because these journalists are like, oh, I'm going to get these juicy sources. These intelligence people are going to be feeding me the big news, and then I'll make a name for myself. You say no. You say, I'm not here to serve the interests of the intelligence agencies. I am a journalist. And they go, okay. Shortly after, they'll be like, we want you to work for us. We can compensate you. The next incentive is money. And if you say, I'm not driven by money, you can't control me, I'm going to report the facts. The next thing that comes is the threats. What would happen to your family? What do you think is going to happen if you do this? Powerful people are going to be mad at you. Then you start getting signs that they will come for you. They will threaten your family. They will hurt your family. And then lastly, they come for you. Accuse you of crimes, smear you, or ultimately kill you. I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying I've had journalists explain this to me around this time, in 2012, 2013, with like a lot of the big hacker stuff that was going on. A lot of the journalists that I knew and hung out with were like, this is typically what you'll see. And so you'll end up with someone like perhaps Michael Hastings saying the FBI has been investigating him. Perhaps because he had already, they knew they couldn't turn him, they couldn't convince him, he wouldn't work with them, and he was going to expose these big stories. To be fair, I'm not trying to, I know it's a sore subject for a lot of people. His family says that they essentially discount these narratives, these conspiracy theories. The point is, when you're an investigative journalist and you are staring down at the CIA and the FBI, powerful U.S. massively funded interests that don't want to have bumps in the road, they're not going to let you do it, man.
Yeah.
Now, most journalists don't do any reporting that really bothers them, like 99.9. But eventually you get someone who gets leaked some real information, and what do they got to do? They flee to Hong Kong or Russia before that information gets leaked to, say, WikiLeaks or Glenn Greenwald.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's also the big information that Udo Ufketi, I'm saying it wrong, he's a German journalist that worked for Der Spiegel, that released and talked about how essentially, intelligence agencies were writing entire articles that he just had to put his name behind. Yep. And, there's a large number of these individuals that, of course, we need to remind people of. There are heroes out there that do deserve to be commended, that do deserve to be talked about, and do deserve to be remembered. Since, of course, having these conversations is something that is more imperative than ever, especially right now. So
I have mixed feelings about the CIA. Like, in a way, I value it because we have, I don't know, secret spy agencies. Maybe you need them. I don't know. It didn't exist before 1945.
It's not all bad. It's not. Nothing's absolute. I guess if you like living in America and you like the interests that we have in this country, like if you like the ability to go and buy a pizza and live comfortably and stuff, you have to, recognize that there are things being done essentially in your name that you probably would never agree with and would not vote for. They do horrifying things, and the justification is you don't know about it. And you get to live comfortably and beautifully in the United States. Look, they want to build the Qatar-Turkey pipeline. A big reason for this big conflict with Russia and Syria is to get cheap gas into Europe so that people in Europe can live better and more cheaply. Most people in Europe would probably be like, I want cheaper gas. And they do. There was rioting in France over expensive gas. So intelligence agencies and contractors, real nasty people doing real nasty stuff are doing real nasty things so that you can get your cheaper gas. And I tried talking to a lot of activists about this. I'm like, you have so many people who love living in luxury. And that's why I think it's really important that you people get out away from the big cities, learn to support themselves, take responsibility, maybe chop some wood, learn how to hunt, handle a firearm, be responsible for yourself. Because if you want to sit here and complain about warfare and slavery and stuff in countries like China with Foxconn Labs, you got to recognize that you are reaping the benefits of war and slavery. And if you don't want to acknowledge that, then fine, that's on you. For me, I fully understand that's what this world is made of and what's going on. And I oppose it in a lot of ways. And I do think we should get back to being more self-sustainable and self-reliant.
Well, yeah, I would argue about the gas prices because it's not as simple as just gas prices. I mean, as John Perkins exposed with the economic hitman, it's far more than that. It's interest.
No,
it's a lot of powers that want more of it. And they're going to get their way one way or another. And the only way they're able to is because people stay silent, is because people are afraid, is because people don't want to talk about these larger issues. But if we did, it would expose their game, which is essentially rigged, which more and more people are finding out. So I think it's more imperative to have these honest, real conversations. And I'm very happy to be a part of this one because I think it's absolutely needed.
This is why nobody wants to be a real journalist anymore. You look back in the day, you had those names, Woodward and Bernstein. Now they're kind of, I guess, off the rails because, is it Bernstein who keeps saying
everything's worse than Watergate?
Everything's worse than Watergate. It's like, okay, dude. Yeah. It used to be that if you were a journalist and you exposed something, you were protected because they were like, we can't go after this person because they're a famous and respected journalist. That was a long time ago. Now they'll just make up some insane story and call you a Nazi. Mm-hmm. And then
you're a white supremacist, you're a Russian
boom,
asset.
Boom, done. Yeah. There you go. So if you're not going to go down in history for doing a good thing, if no one will like you and then you will die by suicide with 2 gunshots to the head, what incentive is there for anyone to actually do investigations? None. You're not going to make money doing it, and everyone will hate you because they will smear and they will destroy you. Look, before so I was reading about, well, I don't want to get too conspiratorial, but look at Julian Assange. How the media lied about Julian Assange over and over and over again. Just everything they put about the guy was smears and lies, accusing him of things he never did. They destroyed his character. And then they turned the left against him. Amazing how it used to be the left that loved WikiLeaks. Now it's the left that hates WikiLeaks. It's amazing.
And Donald Trump loved WikiLeaks too, and then he oddly forgot who Julian Assange was.
Yeah, that's really sad.
He was asked about it point blank. I don't know who Julian Assange is. I mean, are you kidding me?
So
I love WikiLeaks.
I got to ask you guys, were you disappointed by that, or did you expect it that he wouldn't pardon him?
I don't know. I was 50-50. I was like, I wonder. I think he might do it.
I knew he was not going to do it, and I was still very disappointed that he didn't.
So what tipped you off? What made you think like there's no way he's going to do this?
Well, his treatment of whistleblowers hasn't been that good. I mean, his statements on Chelsea Manning, his statements on Julian Assange, acting like he didn't even know who he was a very telling sign, as well as the people around him. I mean, we heard rumors that it was a lot of people, especially Jared Kushner, being one of the major people who was against giving any kind of freedom towards Julian Assange, along with other special interests that pushed for this. And, those voices were very prominent. And I think those voices Donald Trump heard and listened to and sadly disappointed a lot of his base that was expecting this to happen.
Yeah, very
he had an opportunity for on the way out to just like really smack it to the machine.
Yeah.
But he wants to run again.
Yeah.
And so what we're seeing now,
Really?
with his impeachment. So first, there's a video of him where he goes, "We're trying really hard." This is like it's like in December. He's like, "We're trying really hard to win, to stay in. But if we don't, we'll see you in 2024." Wow. So what's happening now is they're impeaching him, right? He's filed his rebuttal to the impeachment, saying, "I'm not in office. You can't impeach me." Mm-hmm. The Constitution specifically says that they can be impeached, they can be removed from office, or like impeachment serves the purpose of removing them from office. He says, well, if I can't be removed from office because I'm not in office, you can't impeach me, right? So then he's arguing, it says the purpose of impeachment is to remove them from office and prevent them from holding office in the future. Trump says, well, as I can't be impeached, I can still run for office in the future, and you have no jurisdiction to try a private citizen before he's in public office, before he's run or whatever, or while he's not in office. Trump is basically saying he wants to run. And the purpose of impeachment is to stop him from being able to be president again.
Drew Holden said that Jeff Bezos wants to run.
Oh.
He said he's running, and I don't know if that means running away from Amazon or
I wonder
running
if the
from
Washington
Bezos.
Post is going to endorse
Oprah,
him.
no.
Zuckerberg, Bezos.
No. Bezos, Oprah.
Bezos, no.
That's
I
a
want
winning
to. I want
ticket.
to. I want to
It's a dream
vote. I want to vote for a Zuckerberg Bezos ticket.
What?
I'm
Well,
totally
you got
not
it.
serious.
Of course.
God.
Would you vote for Bezos over Kamala Harris?
Oh, if it doesn't have to be Kamala versus
dare
Bezos.
I think
you.
it's going to be Kamala.
I think
Oh,
it'd
man.
be Bezos. Was he going to run as a Republican? It's not going to
Yeah.
happen. No way.
Yeah.
No way. He can't run as a
Oh,
Republican.
that's tough.
He can do
I mean, I
whatever
could
he
never vote
wants.
for
It's
Kamala.
true.
Here's the thing. I know I cannot vote for Kamala. And I would not want to vote for Bezos. I'd have to see his policies. I assume I just could not vote for either, but I don't know.
What about Zuckerberg?
Zuckerberg? I don't know.
Zuckerberg.
Because they're both, Zuckerberg is also on the left. So what
Zuckerberg
would that
Dorsey
really do
ticket?
for me? Like they're both going to be pro-choice, and I can't vote pro-choice. So what does that leave me with? Actually, I don't know where Bezos stands on that, but
I'm pretty sure the next Republican that we get who runs is going to be pro-choice.
oh my goodness,
No joke.
I,
No
I
joke.
really hope
I-
not.
Super liberal.
Just remove any reason.
If they don't
for them.
take down Ted Cruz really looks like he's going to be one of the kind of favorites to be on the Republican ticket.
I
I
don't
think.
know if Ted Cruz could
Same
be
with
president.
Rubio. I mean, same with Rand. I think those three are definitely the people that
Really?
are going to be looked at in 2024. And Donald Trump's getting up there as far as age, and I don't think he's going to do it. I think if we know anything about Donald Trump, he's all talk.
Yep.
He's all bark,
Exactly,
no bite.
exactly.
And I think he's
Big-
doing that
the
to
big
kind of
ask,
save
the
face
big
now.
sale.
Yeah, and I think he keeps doing that. I mean, you read his book, The Art of the Deal. A lot of it is just PR to the max, and just using information as a way to get as much support as you can to get what you can, and that's
he is-
essentially his presidency.
So do you think they'll let Ted Cruz run after he attempted to murder AOC?
Well, hold on.
She thinks he actually was the Zodiac Killer.
Let's be clear. It's worse than that. He didn't just try. He rallied all of his friends. And I remember this clear as day. I remember that video of Ted Cruz holding the torch, leading the people down the hallway, screaming, AOC!
With his copy of Green Eggs and Ham. Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
Isn't he the Zodiac Killer?
No,
That's
his
what they're
dad
saying.
was.
No, well,
Was his dad?
AOC thinks he was. So
Wasn't it his dad, though? Not him.
How did that come out about? His
It was
dad?
just. I think it was just a
joke.
meme, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't Trump say something about his dad being
Yeah.
involved with like JFK's assassination?
He was
Yeah.
clearly the Zodiac Killer. It's settled.
Yep.
Luke, I am happy to hear that you believe that Cruz and Rand will really be looked at. I guess my question is, what are you basing that on? Why do you feel they're the guys who are going to
Because they're getting
And Rubio
attacked the
also,
most.
like-
So they're getting. So you see the targets.
Yeah.
I mean, the establishment is smart.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, when we're talking about the CIA and the information that they data harvest, especially from the NSA and all the information that they know, I mean, we're probably already with predictive programming algorithms that could predict the future. I think we're already there, and I think it's already being exploited. And I think the bigger kind of targets that stand against them, they're already setting the kind of the groundwork to kind of beat them into oblivion, and that's why we're seeing such kind of attacks on them that are kind of ridiculous. I criticized all of them. I have negative things to say about all of them, but seeing the media landscape, seeing the media landscape against them, there's something that's up, and I think it's because they represent some of the bigger ideas that a lot of mainline kind of Republicans and Trump supporters also kind of in the middle ground resonate with.
What if it's Tucker?
Tucker Carlson for president. My goodness.
I like him because he's the only one that criticized Donald Trump effectively. He was the only one not afraid. Sean Hannity, I mean, he's a total brown noser, but Tucker Carlson like literally called out Trump on the issues that actually mattered.
People
the
don't-
wars, the budgets, the COVID response, everything that Trump did bad. Tucker was right on him. So you got to give him credit.
Isn't
for
it
that.
incredible that he's on televition?
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson.
Some
Yeah.
of the
Well, they're
things
trying to
he's
take him
saying-
down, too.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's why he's the only one who saw ratings growth
Yes.
when everyone else was doing bad. Yeah, people don't know this about Luke, but Luke is, he has a poster of Tucker. He's got all.
strikes me
I
as a
definitely
giant
disagree
fan.
with him on his stance on things like marijuana. I disagree with him personally on issues like that. But I like hearing him because he's going to come out with information that is going to be backed by some kind of thinking.
Yes.
And I could agree with the thing and I could disagree with the thinking, but at least I understand that it's coming from a perspective that I could watch and not understand that I'm being tricked.
Yeah,
He doesn't try to
exactly.
trick me.
Exactly.
I went into Luke's RV and there was a photo of me and Luke, and we were on the docks in Coney Island, and he had his arm around me and he was giving me his thumbs up, and he taped Tucker Carlson's face over my face. I'm kidding.
If you go down into
Tim
the
got
Tucker
really
wears a
mad
beanie
about
now.
that.
late night in the basement of this house, you'll see Luke watching
Yeah.
Tucker.
That's what he does.
Well,
after
I got to be
Tucker
honest.
echoing through the halls.
I think Tucker is the best is the best
yeah.
personality on TV right now.
100%.
Yeah, he's the only
and
one.
that's and I got to be honest. It's not saying a whole lot because almost every single person on TV is trash.
Exactly. That's
You know?
exactly it. He's like the only person who isn't just being handed talking points.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.